Stanley here with...
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Alright, so this review is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I actually promised it a while ago. A very, very long time ago. But anyway, I figured it was about time that I got started officially on this Cyberpunk 2077 review. I had kind of worked on it a bit in the past, but decided to restart it because it was garbage, okay? The review was garbage. So anyways, several months later, a few patches later, we are doing a Cyberpunk 2077 review. Now, I want to go ahead and clarify something else as well. This video is not going to be an excuse for Cyberpunk 2077's shitty launch state or the way that the developers treated the game, or more accurately, how the upper management treated the game. Just because I like the game does not mean I will not criticize it. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Anyway, let's get on the road for this. So the first thing we're going to review in this video, broken promises. Where to begin with the broken promises? So leading up to launch, there was an incredibly dishonest marketing campaign in regards to this game. First off, instead of advertising it as an action-adventure RPG similar to The Witcher 3, they decided to advertise it as Life Simulator 2077. Also, CD Projekt made a really big marketing campaign where they did nothing but basically just release ads and hype up features with Night City Wire and all sorts of other conferences like that, instead of actually showing us gameplay footage. Or alternatively, just staying silent about the game and not making any more promises than they already need to. One of these promises was that the game would launch in a perfectly stable and not so buggy state. And while the bugs have been patched recently, it's still a pretty big issue. They're still in the game, and overall, it's unfortunate to see CD Projekt not, release it in a state that could have been acceptable.
Fuck, kill me, please.
But despite all of this, I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy the game. So now, on to the next part of the review, the story. Now, I'm going to keep this section as spoiler-free as I can, but here we go. So you start out as a character in Night City called V. You end up becoming friends with this handsome motherfucker known as Jackie Wells, and decide to do a lot of crime together. This leads you into a lot of dangerous operations, well, actually, officially 2, but whatever. It's still pretty fucking badass. Eventually, you get commissioned by this fat ass over here to pull off a heist on one of the biggest mega corporations in Cyberpunk 2077. And everything seems to go swimmingly at first. However, it just goes downhill from there for you. So long story short, the heist goes terribly wrong, you fuck it up, Jackie gets shot and fucking dies. You then slot a biochip that you stole from Arasaka for the heist into your brain. However, Dex over here doesn't like that and shoots you to death. However, instead of dying, you end up having a flashback to this guy, aka futuristic John Wick, Johnny Silverhand. And it turns out that you're still alive. The biochip resurrected you in the middle of a landfill. Then, the whole rest of the plot of Cyberpunk revolves around you trying to get Johnny out of your head. Now, let's talk about one of the more important parts of the story, the characters. So, let me just say, first off, Johnny is real fun at parties.
Arasaka's still a despotic machine and the world's on a collision course with chaos.
Yeah, it's just don't let him talk about politics. You meet characters such as basement-dwelling waifu Judy, Night City's resident sugar daddy Carrie. Fuck! God damn it! Well, now I can confirm I'm bisexual for Carrie. We also have best girl Panam over here. And finally, probably one of my favorite characters aside from Judy and Jackie, Takemura. All of these characters help V try to get rid of the terminal illness called Johnny Silverhand in some capacity. Now, you might be wondering why I haven't mentioned life paths or side quests yet. Well, let me just say this. Life paths are absolutely fucking useless. Just pick whatever life path you want, you don't get too much out of it. But as for the side quests, absolutely do the side quests. Some of them help you get different endings, and overall, they're just a lot of fun and make playing through this game a lot better. That's all I have to say on story though. Overall, pretty damn good. Now, let's move on to the next section, optimization and bugs. Oh boy, here we go. Okay then. Yeah, to say the least, there's still quite a few bugs. Now, I know I'm no longer showing footage of the glitches or performance issues, but honestly, I can just say for certain there is a shitload of performance issues and bugs. And while a few of them have been patched by this point, keep in mind I'm playing during patch 1.31. The bugs definitely still exist. However, do I think they're immersion shattering? Absolutely not. At least not on PC, and at least not when performance issues are kicking in. So what performance issues am I referring to specifically? I'm talking about when certain models aren't rendering properly and instead look like Play-Doh. Also, for some reason, some sounds just don't play at all. Up until like way later for some reason. It's really stupid, and I really hope that gets fixed. Like if CD Projekt makes the game a bit easier to run, I think that would definitely help. So overall, don't really hate the optimization and bugs, just wish it was better because sometimes it gets fucking annoying. Anyway, that leads us to the next section, gameplay. Now, when I first saw the gameplay for this game in a fake demo, I decided, you know what, this doesn't look as good as I would have expected. However, after playing it, honestly, I could say it plays a lot better than it looks. And now my dumbass is wondering why it is that I decided to put the gameplay section after the story, if gameplay is more important than story in a game. But recognizing that I am a dogshit reviewer aside, overall, I'd say the gameplay is pretty good. Combat is pretty damn fun once you get the hang of it, because at first it starts out feeling like a cover shooter, but once you get the hang of it and once you've fully ranked up, you can become a true Night City legend. There's various weapon classes to make use of, and also various playstyles as well. I personally went with a run and gun playstyle, and a cover shooter playstyle to say the least. Another thing I did was a lot of hacking in my combat. You can see here that there's a clip of me hacking an enemy character to make them commit suicide. So basically, in regards to combat gameplay, your character has a few abilities. You first have your basic gunfighting ability, followed by hacking, and of course melee combat. Now, one thing I really like about the gameplay is that it allows you to go with pretty much any playstyle you want. You want to go in guns blazing, you want to go in stealthy, you want to go in completely melee build or with only guns, go ahead. It's your option to choose. And that's one of my favorite parts about the game's combat. However, a big issue I also have with it is the fact that there's just no incentive to try out other playstyles. And while I did occasionally fuck around with different builds for my character, there was never any real incentive to actually do so. Also, another big issue with the combat is that there's not much of a variety in regards to weapons. A lot of them are just the same as one another, just with different perks. Oh, and also AI's brain dead in this game. Or in the case of the police system, too smart. Now, for the next section, we go over graphics and aesthetics. The graphics to this game are absolutely beautiful, if I do say so myself. Like, just looking at Night City looks like a next-gen game. And you can just tell a lot of effort went into making sure that this game looked great. So, why did I also include aesthetics in the title? Well, it's because lately I had a debate with a few people who contemplated the possibility that this doesn't exactly look cyberpunkish. Because apparently it didn't look like Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049. Both of which are great examples of the cyberpunk aesthetic. However, to me, it looks a lot like the game is trying to emulate the aesthetic of a movie called Dread from 2012. The reason I compare Dread and Cyberpunk's aesthetic is because both of them look incredibly similar in the sense that both of them look incredibly modernized. So, here's my proof that Cyberpunk 2077 and Dread have a similar aesthetic. Yep, they confirmed it themselves. Who would have guessed? But anyway, going back to the topic of the graphics, honestly, this game looks great. If your graphics card can do ray tracing, definitely go for it, because it looks wonderful. Just make sure your PC doesn't shit itself with the graphics. I am begging you. And now for the final section, soundtrack. How best to explain it? Yeah, to say the least, it fucking slaps. Enough said there, onto the final section. So now, I just want to give my final thoughts in regards to the state of Cyberpunk now. So, by this point, though I still enjoy the game, it is broken as shit. And currently, the DLC and updates for this game have been delayed about 3 times by this point, with the roadmap being redesigned those 3 times. And while I would still definitely recommend, buying the game to absolutely anyone who wants to pick up a good story-driven game, good open-world game, this game is for you. This game is great. However, with the current direction the game is going in, it's depressing. However, one thing I'm gonna say is, I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy myself with this game. I know I said that earlier in the video, but I gotta restate it. Because as many issues as there are with this game, at the core of it all, beneath the bugs, beneath the graphical issues, beneath the glitches, beneath all of the false marketing, there's still what I feel to be a good game, buried beneath all of it. But anyway, that's the video for today, or whenever you're watching this. This took too long to make in between getting burned out on making content, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know how I did, because, it's my first time officially reviewing a product. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.